All right, hey everybody. Putting together a little low back series to try and help anybody that's at home right now and trying to figure out what they can do about their low back problems. So it's going to be a three-part series, and part number one here, we're going to be talking about your core and how well does your core work? Is your core controlling your spine as it moves into flexion like it should be? A lot of times you see people that come in here and they stand and try and touch their toes and they get a foot away from the floor and they say, oh, I haven't stretched my hamstrings yet today, I can't get down there and do it. When in fact, they actually have plenty of length of their hamstrings, they just don't have enough control of their core musculature to bring them into flexion, which leads to the hamstrings turning on reflexively to limit that motion. It's basically your brain or your body telling you what to do to avoid hurting itself. So I'm going to give you three tests here today. From there, I'll have some corresponding links that you can do with corrective exercises to try and maybe fix a problem that you might have and get to feeling better. So the first one we're going to do is a toe touch. Okay, so this is a progression of little breakouts that I would do with an evaluation to see, again, how well things are working. So number one, I want everybody to stand up and try and put your feet together, and I want to see how well you can touch your toes. So you're going to try and keep your knees straight, bend down, try and touch your toes and see how far you can go. Also, I want you to recognize what you feel when you do this. So in an ideal world, you should just feel a stretch in your hamstrings. But if you have pain on one side or pain on the other, any discomfort necessarily, take note of that. So this is the first test, again, seeing how far you can go in a standing toe touch. Again, trying to keep those knees relatively straight. You see mine are bending a little bit. Okay, test number two. We're going to compare the standing toe touch to a long sit test. So from here, I want to see if you can bend over and touch your toes. Again, a lot of times you see people standing and trying to touch their toes. They can't even come close, but then they sit on the table and they can touch no problem. So that's not a hamstring length issue. That's a core issue. And you know how hamstrings are so vital for low back health. So a lot of times it's not needing to stretch those, it's needing to get your core stronger. So seeing what you feel here. Are you more flexible? Does it take away your pain? Whatever it may be, you're trying to, again, see the difference between the two. Your third test is a straight leg raise test. So I want to see the difference between how high you can lift it yourself, okay, keeping that knee straight, versus how high you can passively raise your leg. If I can lift my leg actively to say 70 or 80 degrees, okay, but if I could then lift it passively to 110 or beyond, a lot of people are very, very flexible. They can go all the way up, but they can only actively raise to here. That's because their core isn't strong enough to allow their leg to lift up higher. So you want to see the difference between your active and passive leg raise and a relative degree difference. So if you are, greater than 20 degrees, beyond what you could do actively, passively. I know that sounds a little bit confusing, but you want to make sure you can lift as far on your own as you can pulling it up. If you can't, then that's, again, a weakness that we can fix with a couple of interesting exercises. So anyway, take a look at my website. From there you can see some links to be able to fix what your problem may be. Next series that comes up is going to be talking about lumbar extension and just being too compressed, which is a lot of people's problems from sitting all day and whatnot. Thanks.